I got my hands on a real Klon Centaur, and I was pretty excited because I wanted to see what the hype was about. I plugged it in, and man, was this thing rich and smooth. But even still, I was a little disappointed because these things cost $5 grand, and I couldn't escape that lingering thought that my other Overdrive pedals honestly sounded pretty similar. So I did what us guitarists do and created a shootout. If you're interested, you can check out that video on my channel. But basically, my main takeaway was, with a little bit of tweaking, I think all 3 of my Overdrive pedals could easily sound like a Klon. Before you click off this video utterly offended that I can't appreciate your boutique collection of Overdrive pedals, just hear me out. I'm a tone guy like you, but I think to the general listener, their ability to tell the difference between a Klon and a Tube Screamer is
slim to none.
And in a blind test, it seems like most guitarists can't really tell either. So I'm gonna put myself to the blind test and see if I can tell the difference between my 3 Overdrives, which are the Fulltone Fulldrive 2, the JHS Moonshine, and the Jackson Audio Belle Starr. Sorry, no Klon, I had to give her back. So here's the setup. I've gone through my 3 pedals and have them sounding pretty similar. My wife's in the other room and she's gonna click through them at random. I'll get 45 seconds with each pedal and then 1 round of 45 seconds to hear them side by side by side. And we'll see if I can tell the difference. Now let's begin. Okay, I'm ready for the first one now.
Okay, here we go. First round and go.
Okay. This one's nice. I really like it. I'm thinking this is the
10 seconds left.
Okay.
And you're done.
My initial inkling is that's the Belle Starr.
Alrighty, and go.
Wow. I don't know if it sounds the same to you. It sounds the same.
It all sounds the same.
I think this one's maybe like a touch thinner. But the actual drive, like the amount of gain, seems the same. If I had to guess, I'm gonna say that's the Fulldrive, but I'm not very sure on that.
Here you go.
Oh. Oh wow. Okay, so I think the second one was the thinnest. Oh. Okay, if I had to revise, I would say that one is the Belle Starr, the first was the Moonshine, and the Fulldrive was the middle one. But I'm curious to hear them back to back.
Here you go.
Okay, can I hear the second? Okay, can I hear the third? Okay, I am fairly confident that the third is the Belle Starr, because that one has just like a very pronounced EQ curve in the bottom. Can I hear the first one again? And then I hear the second. First again? And the second? Gosh, they are so similar. I don't know. How much time?
That's all I got.
Oh, okay.
This is a lot of work. You should just get the neural.
So I guess based on that, I'm going with the third is the Belle Starr. I think the second is the Moonshine, and the first is the Fulldrive. Because the Moonshine's been my favorite pedal for so long, and I like the second a little more, and I'm probably wrong. So here we go. So I'm not sure if you saw the last video where I compared all my guitars, but I think this was much harder. I think these pedals definitely sound more similar than the guitars did, but the guitars did also kind of have some similarities. All right, let's see if I got it right. So I said the first one I played was the Fulldrive 2.
It was the Moonshine.
Oh gosh, really?
Yeah.
That sucks because that's my favorite pedal, and I thought the first one sounded like a little bit thin and not good. The second one I said was the Moonshine. What was that one?
The Fulldrive.
Okay, so I knew 1 and 2 were the Fulldrive and the Moonshine. I just wasn't sure which was which. They have like really similar characteristics.
Yeah.
So I got the third right, Belle Starr?
Mm-hmm.
That one was the only one I noticed a slight difference because it has a little more round low end that the other pedals don't quite have. Although I wouldn't say that it necessarily sounds better. I do really like it though with the Telecaster.
Yeah, it was really, honestly, everything sounds the same for me, but I feel like number 2 or number 3 were probably my preferred.
Okay, number 2 and 3. So you like the Fulldrive? Wow, man. So I said in the blind test what my favorite pedal was the worst, and you said that one was the worst. So maybe I need to redo my whole board again.
Oh no!
I'm gonna admit, I'm glad I got a few wrong, and the reason is, it means I wasn't a total crazy person when I thought that the Klon and my other Overdrives sounded similar. But you know, I wouldn't say that means you shouldn't buy a bunch of Overdrives. In fact, the thing that proves the opposite is how differently I had to have these 3 pedals set up to get them to sound as similar as they did. On the Moonshine, I had the tone set just past halfway, and on the Fulldrive it was up to like maybe 75%. Meanwhile with the Belle Starr, the tone was at about 25%, sitting just as chimey as the other ones. So the Moonshine and the Fulldrive are definitely voiced much darker than the Belle Starr. Also worth noting, I'd say this tone we just used was a good stage 1 overdrive sound, meaning a lighter overdrive sound. And to get that with the Moonshine and the Fulldrive 2, I had the gain just above 25%. Meanwhile, with the Belle Starr, I had the gain all the way up to 65%. So there's definitely a lot more room for rich overdrive tones and probably borderline distortion depending on how your amp is set up with the Fulldrive and the Moonshine. Another thing that I think honestly helped me distinguish at least the Belle Starr from the other 2 pedals is that the Moonshine and the Fulldrive definitely sound like drive pedals. And I know you're probably thinking like, well, Justin, duh, it's a drive pedal. But the Belle Starr was a drive pedal, but it changed the characteristic of the guitar a lot more than the other 2 did. And it has an almost amp-like texture to it that I think is really cool. And in my live rig, I'd say how I use these pedals ultimately reflects those differences. I'm using the Belle Starr as my first stage drive, and I would describe that tone definitely as an edge of breakup tone, or maybe like a tube amp that's been turned up pretty high. And then I'm using the Moonshine as an actual drive or a heavier drive. Another thing worth noting with these 3 pedals is that they are actually 3 different price points. So clearly you can at least get this stage 1 drive sound with probably any sort of overdrive pedal. That Fulltone Fulldrive 2 was the first real pedal I ever bought, and I think it was like $135 to $150 when I got it. I think they're on a Fulldrive 3 or 4 now, who knows. And then the Moonshine is a $200 pedal, and the Belle Starr is a $250 pedal. In terms of versatility, I'd say your money goes really far with the Fulltone because there's also a boost button that can give you a sort of volume boost, and if you turn the Mosfet mode on, it gives you even more saturation. Same thing with the Moonshine, that thing can give you anything from an edge of breakup tone to a really thick distortion. It also has that toggle switch to give you even more gain and a different EQ voicing on your pedal. And then flip it to the Belle Starr, it's the only one with a body control, and that makes a huge difference to the overall tone shaping of your guitar. So there's definitely advantages to each pedal. But I'm curious, did you guys think those pedals sounded as similarly as I did? Because I gotta admit, when I was dialing them in, I was like, they're close, but I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be able to tell the difference. But as soon as I removed the visual from the room and it was just me, the guitar, and the sound, it was so nuanced, like so slim. That's probably why I got them wrong. Be sure to let me know what you thought in the comments below. Like the video, subscribe, and I will see you next time.